Morning and welcome to Mobile World Congress. I'm Jamie Davis from Telecoms.com and I'm here with James Anderson at Mastercard. How are you, James?
I'm great, Jamie. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. A bit of a whirlwind start, but a pretty good one as far as it goes.
Excellent.
So, Mastercard, digital payments, go. Where are we this year for Mobile World Congress?
Sure. Well, actually, this is our 5th year at Mobile World Congress. We've had a booth here now, fifth year, and as you can see, we've got a nice setup again. And I think what we're really seeing here is the emergence of a lot of the strategic threads that we've been talking about for the last couple of years. So we've been talking about digital payments coming to life. We've been talking about how our issuers can be part of it through our MasterPass program. And now what we're showing a lot this year is really the use cases, both use cases today and use cases of the future, like my friend Pepper here, which we think really tell the story about how Mastercard is investing to help our issuers be successful in digital in the short term and also future-proofing it for the long term.
Because digital payments, the digital economy, it's something we've been talking about for years, it seems, but I think 2016 and what's looking quite promising for 2017 is there's a real breakthrough. It's starting to hit mainstream. Digital is real.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And in the payments world, I think the big catalytic event for us was 2014 when Apple Pay launched, and we were there on the first day of Apple Pay launch. And then 2015, 2016 for us has been around scaling that program out, but then also layering on top of that the MasterPass program. And I think as you see in anything that has a lot of infrastructure like payments, there's a certain amount of time that's required to lay the infrastructure down. So for us that meant building tokenization technology, provisioning technology. We had to roll out contactless for point of sale. But we're really seeing all those investments start to build on themselves now, and we are seeing very rapid growth in transactions, and also, to your point, rapid growth in consumer engagement. So people are seeing other people using it, and so therefore they're understanding it, and that's causing people to kind of snowball into using it. And also, I think we're seeing more and more merchant investments. So obviously, the merchant is where kind of the rubber meets the road for payment. What the merchant wants to offer to their consumer is critical. And so here today, for example, we're showing our order ahead experience, which is, in this case, it's showing it in a coffee shop. And so you're starting to see these use cases become quite mainstream. Consumers understand the benefit around saving time. And I don't think anybody's ever said, give me something slower and less convenient. Consumers want speed, they want convenience, and they're understanding now that digital is a way to get there.
Because I think that for me is the one difference from, like you said, in 2014 when Apple Pay was launched and what we are today now, is seeing someone pay for something by their mobile phone. It was a bit baffling at the time. But now we've got through to that normalization, and like you said, it's more consumers seeing it all the time, but at the same time merchants actually becoming part of the process as well.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's not just even devices. Obviously devices is a critical use case. But in London, we've been live now with contactless on the tube for quite a while now, and tremendously popular program, massive uptake. And some of those big, large programs really create the sort of preconditions for consumers to understand that something's changing. They invest a little bit of effort in understanding what's changed, and then they suddenly learn the benefits, and then you get that snowball effect going. So I think 2017 is looking really strong. We're also adding some other things into our program. For example, one of the use cases that we see a lot of demand for is sending money. So obviously, a lot of our digital work to date has been around paying for things. That's important. But it turns out people like to receive money even more. So we have a great demo here of Uber drivers, and this is live, where they can get paid to their debit card on demand. They can cash out rides, get paid instantly to their debit card using the Mastercard Send platform. And so that's an interesting example of how digital, if you think about digital around the local transportation business, that has been revolutionized by Uber. But now it's interesting, it creates these sort of second order effects. Like now we have a lot of Uber drivers who want to get paid, and that creates a new payment opportunity. So in that case, we're able to get the transaction on the consumer side, and quite often now on the merchants, on the driver side as well. So I think really some of the things that people were saying, I was saying them for a long time about digital and how it was going to change consumers' behavior and merchants' behavior is really becoming true. And actually out there we have a tuk-tuk. So one of the things which is a great prop to have on a trade show, but it's not just a prop. So one of our beliefs is very strongly held at Mastercard is about the need to embrace and invest in financial inclusion.
Yeah.
And so obviously we've had a history of deploying merchant terminals all around the world. It's been a very successful model. But now we're in a number of markets and a number of use cases where the idea of a point-of-sale terminal just doesn't make sense.
Yes.
A tuk-tuk is an iconic example. There's no power. People aren't going to be installing terminals in tuk-tuks. So, but the consumer has a very smart, highly smart smartphone in their hand, and so we're able to essentially reverse the flow of the transaction. The consumer scans a QR, does a transaction, and that pushes money to the tuk-tuk driver. So the the capabilities of a smart connected device, they enable us obviously to replicate what we've done with cards and build on it.
Yeah.
Things like order ahead. They enable us to be in a position where an Uber driver can actually pull money to themselves. And then we have a situation in India live with Masterpass QR where the consumer can actually push money to the driver directly. So I think the digital device, the flexibility, the connectivity of it, which we talked about for a long time in maybe slightly abstract terms, I think this year we're really seeing the use cases come forward that are paying off those ideas.
What events and what milestones mean that Mastercard has had a good 2017?
Yeah, so for Mastercard, obviously there's the traditional metrics as a public company.
Yeah.
For Masterpass, which is our digital properties that I'm in charge of, it's really about the key use cases really getting mass scale. So for example, we've been very successful in top-up in South Africa. We're going to expand that into Europe with a partnership with Wimpel.com. So that's a great one. We're spending a lot of time focused on food and beverage, so the coffee shop, because these are the places where consumers start to experiment. Transaction value is relatively low, but the frequency is high, so that fits very well. And then transportation is another great use case. So we think that this year is really about scaling up those use cases that consumers find compelling